Hey guys, to Brexit Britain, a country who accidentally misfueled their vehicle by putting petrol in a diesel engine. Instead of calling a company to get the petrol out of the diesel engine, they decided to siphon the lot out themselves. Halfway through, they thought it was a good idea to have a fag, a cigarette. Very bad idea. And also, guys, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you for all your messages you sent me, yeah? And a special thanks, yeah, to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that, yeah? I'll go through all your messages. I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. Even the ones who disagree with me, even those. So this morning we've heard a bit about this levelling up agenda. You know, they're going to apparently bring London style transport to the north. To the north, they're going to give them some London style transport. If you want London style transport, yeah, the first thing you need to do, yeah, is get your ass an underground system. Right, because you see that. Let me tell you about the underground system. Yeah, you don't even have to know, right, when your tube is coming. You just walk down. You can just literally walk into any underground station in London, yeah, and within a few minutes, yeah, sometimes seconds, right, a tube will pull up and take you to your next destination. So that's the type of thing that you really want to have. I mean, they're talking about like some overground transport and some trams and all that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Obviously we don't really have trams in London apart from we've got some in Croydon, right? But other than that, we haven't really got trams in London because I don't really think trams and that really look good in a town centre and that. Do you know what I mean? I don't really like. I've never really liked that. Do you know what I mean? So luckily in London, we've never really been spoilt with that. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that really spoils where you live. Do you know what I mean? Because it just doesn't, for me, I don't know about for you, but for me it just doesn't really look good. Do you know what I mean? But so they're talking about boosting it, but unless your councils, right, set this up, right, so it's run by the councils, right, then you know what, they're just going to take all the money and they're going to give it all to all the private companies, and the private companies are going to say thank you very much and just carry on where they are right now, right, which is, for you guys up north and that, you know what I mean, I know that it's like some very, very high travel costs, you know what I mean, but then again, right, if I wanted to go and book, if I tried to book a train to go from now, say if I was going from London to Liverpool or to Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, Leicester, right, Nottingham, right, Bath. I love saying it like that. I should really say Bath, but I love saying Bath, right? Yeah. So if I want to book a train to go to any of those places, right, let me tell you, right, I could probably, right, book a flight to fly to Malta or to Spain cheaper than it would cost, right, for me to go up. It's much cheaper for me to just jump in my car and just drive up there in my car, right? Because the transport costs in this country, yeah, have always been ridiculous. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are high in London, but I know compared to what you guys have to pay up north and places like that, do you know what I mean? It's just like, it's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? I know that, right? Especially like your public transport, which because like, I don't think most of your councils have got control of like your public transport, or a lot of your public transport. It might be overseen by them, but I don't think they've got control. See, ours is run by Transport for London, right? And even though it's a load of fucking bullshit, right? It's still basically being run by the government. Which is what I mean, and that's what you really want for, like, for domestic travel and all that, right? The government should be running that. The government should be running every single train line in this country, right? You can have the private sector work alongside them, because the private sector could still run trains along the same tracks, right? And if you say, well, what, I want to ride in one of the private sector trains because they're more comfortable, or the food is better, or whatever. Right, then you could use those, but they could use it on the same tracks. I mean, it's not like they have to go and sell them the whole line. So right, the government themselves should be running every single train line, just like all the buses all over the country. The government should be running, But remember, right, who was speaking about this years ago, was Jeremy Corbyn, was speaking about, getting bus services and all bus services and the train services to run, properly up north. He was speaking about all them type of things. Do you know what I mean? But you guys, Boris Johnson's I believe he set aside 7 billion for this. So they just gave their friends and family 37 billion, right? But for you guys, for the leveling up agenda, there you got 7 billion. I'm sure that's going to help. But as I said, yeah, unless this goes to the councils, right? I remember the councils right now. Yeah, the councils haven't even got none of them haven't even really got the infrastructure, because most of them have sold off all this shit from years ago. So none of them haven't even really got the infrastructure to really run any of these things. Yeah. So the private sector is just going to come along and say, you know what, yeah, and just eat up all that money. Hopefully someone like Andy Burnham, he might be able to target, the council to say, well, you know what, you need to be running this shit, right? You need to be running this, right? You need to employ local people, right, to run the bus services and the tram services. You need to do that. No private company. We don't want the private companies doing it. You need to do it, right? It's a cash cow. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. So, so the private companies, they're all going to want to do it. But then, if you look at the mess what the private companies have just made of all the energy, because how much private energy companies have gone bankrupt in the last few months? Right? I think it's must be about 19 to 25 of them that have all gone. Yeah, because that's what happens. Because when the private sector run these things, they're only looking for profits. That's what because the private companies, they've got to look for profits. You can't blame them for that. Right? But that's the reason why you don't have them running, right, certain things within your country, because if you do, right, you just get yourself into a complete mess. And this country is in a complete and utter fucking shambles, right? I don't think that this country could be in a worse position, right? I don't think any country in the world, right, has ever been, especially, right, when they've done this to themselves purposely. Right. For what we're going through now, yeah, most countries, they would have to go through a famine or a war to go through this type of shit. Do you know what I mean? And we are so fucking exceptional that we say, you know what, we can bring this shit on ourselves because we can get back out of this shit. Well, good luck with that. As I say, good luck with that. Because right now, yeah, look, let's speak about like the care system, right? Social care. Yeah, because it's in one hell of an absolute mess, along with all the other industries in this country. I mean, it's not, it's not out there by itself. It's just in a mess with everything else. But this one, right, it is really fucked up, right? Because understand, right, that before we left the EU, right, the people who was working in social care, right, I'd say you're probably looking at. Probably 40% of the people who was working in social care, right, was working in there because it's a job. They're not working in there because they had a calling to work in social care. That's the other lot. That's the other maybe, maybe another probably say 45%, right, of people working in that, right, who had the calling. But about 40% of them, they haven't got a calling. They're just doing it because it's a job. And again, right, it's a job with fucked up wages, right, and the conditions are really fucked up. I mean, can you imagine having to look after another human being, right, doing everything for them? Just imagine what you do for yourself, and these people are doing this for another human being, right? And a lot of times for minimum wage or just above the minimum wage. For me, those jobs is like probably £20 an hour, £25 an hour. Right, but a lot of the people in social care, yeah, they will tell you straight, you know what, if you because I've heard them say this. This is why I'm saying this. I've heard them say this myself, right? If you raise the wages too high, then they'll get all the wrong people in social care, right? But so somewhere along the line, they've got to have some type of balance. I don't know where that balance is. I don't work in social care, right? And it's not something that I've ever designed, had the desire to do, right? So. But they've obviously got to find a balance, right? But at the moment, them jobs are like the minimum wage and just above minimum wage. So they're going to be £10 or under an hour, right? In those type of jobs, So you're going to be hard pressed, right now, right, finding people to fill these posts. Right. So any day now, and you know me with predictions, any day now, right, the government, yeah, are going to get their tail between their legs, right, and they're going to try and get some people in from the EU, right. Now it depends. Now you see, the thing is, right, it depends on what kind of conditions that they offer. Because if they think they could just say, you know what, 6 months, and because that's not going to happen. Right? Because as I said, yeah, you have to be, yeah, it takes, either, right, in your jobs market, yeah, there has to be, right, a shortage of jobs, right, or you're going to rely on people who have a calling to do that type of work, right, and there's not enough people who have a calling to do that type of work, right, in this country. Just no way. There's no way near there is, because everybody right now, yeah, who's got a calling to do that job are doing that job right now. They haven't moved from there. They're all doing it, right? But a lot of the others, right, who was just doing it because it's a job, yeah, they've all moved into, like, into other jobs. They're working, hospitality and all these type of things, because you know what, they can get the same type of money in hospitality, right? Whereas, they could just go and, if they say for example, they go and work in a hotel or whatever, right? So let's go and work in a hotel, clean out a few rooms and that, right? They clean out the rooms, they don't have to clean out the person. Right? So that's what the difference is, right? The job's the job's much easier. Right, they haven't got to, because in, like, in social care, right, you need a lot of big strong blokes as well, right? Because you have to be lifting up adults and all that type of thing. Because a lot of people need real help, so you have to be lifting up adults and all that. So the women have to be strong, the men have to be strong. So it's a physical job, right, and it's a mentally challenging job as well. Right? So that's why it's going to be very, very difficult for them to be finding people, all over the place that they can just say, you know what, to work in this sector. So they're going to really need, right, to be bringing people into the country, right, to be helping with this type of job. Right. And as I said, these jobs are very, very difficult, right? Because old people, they can be very rude, they can be very racist, right? And they're not there to give people an easy time. You know that. That's what it's like working with people like that. So these jobs, as I said, they're not easy. Right? So the government have got themselves in one complete and utter mess again. And all of that, yeah, all of that bullshit, right, is because of you Brexiters. Right, you TiVos and you benefit Tories, you food bank Tories, right, and it's all, yeah, you working class Tories. It's all down to you, right, for this absolute stupid catastrophe, right, that you've brought upon this country. Right, you have to say, what the fuck was you people thinking? Right now, right, people, your nan, your dad, your mum, who's maybe in an old people's home, or maybe need care in the community, right? They're all going to suffer, right, because you people are so motherfucking racist. What the fuck was you expecting? Right? You've turned Britain into a country where nobody, and if they send out visas, you know me already. I'm gonna be laughing when they only get a few. Right, when nothing comes back, already, yeah, because I'm here to always tell you, I told you so. Right, that's what I'm here to always tell you. Told you so. Right, and things can only get more and more fucked up. Right, you people, yeah, you wanted. I don't understand why you wanted this clown in charge. Right, because if you look at Boris Johnson's whole life, right, Boris Johnson's whole life is a mess. Look at his private life. His private life's a whole mess. Man's got babies all over the place. His children hate him, apart from the one that lives with him. But check all the other children; they all hate him. Right? That don't make right for a good leader of a country. Yeah, if your own children don't like you, that don't make for a good leader of a country. Right? And you can see day by day, Britain is getting lower and lower. Right? Our place in the world is going down. It's going further and further down, and the rest of the world is just laughing at Britain. Right? But out of all of this, yeah, Ireland Ireland is just, they're just badding it up because you know what, yeah, a lot of companies have moved to Ireland, right? I think JD Sports have just moved to Ireland, right? So they've got, so they could distribute. So now they could distribute straight into Britain and straight into the EU, right? Because you know what? Guess who's got the best of both worlds? The blinking Irish have got the best of both worlds, yeah. And I say, top of the morning to you, right? Seriously, do you know what I mean? What Britain has done, right, is just like, it's disgusting, right? And our social care system, and look at the NHS as well. The NHS is falling to pieces. Right? We've got COVID running through the country, right? 52,000 people yesterday. 52 fucking thousand people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Right? And this, because you know why? Because we've got a government, yeah, who haven't got a clue. They haven't got a clue, man. They don't know. They haven't got a clue. Right? Everything is just hit and hope. That's it. Right? They're just winging it. Right? And you know what? Here's the thing. Yeah? You can't wing running a country. You can't wing that shit. Right? It always catches up with you. Every single world leader, right, out there, yeah, none of them are winging it, apart from ours. Our whole government is winging it. Right, and they're winging it, right, and it's like, I don't know, for some reason this spell of that Johnson has got, I can't explain it. I can't explain it because all I can see, yeah, is complete incompetence, right, and that's the reason why I say every last one of you Tories and you Brexiters, every last one of you are thick. You are stupid. You have absolutely no sense. Because to me, Boris Johnson is a clumsy clown and you are voting for him. This is by any means necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.